My marriage ruined my life. Hi, my name is Ahima. I bring interesting stories. So if you like interesting stories, let's be friends. I met him at a friend's wedding and we instantly clicked. I came from a very wealthy family. He looked presentable, but it was clear he wasn't financially stable. Still, we started dating. A few months later, he proposed marriage. My parents, given my rich background, would never have agreed to me marrying someone with nothing, but we were madly in love, so I lied to them. I told them he was a graduate working in a good company, even though he was unemployed. Eventually, my parents agreed for him to come to my village and his family for the traditional rites. I gave him the 5 million naira I had saved to ensure my people believed he had money. They came, they did everything necessary, and we got married. Our wedding was the talk of the town. His family didn't even have a roof over their heads in the village, so we used the remaining money to complete their uncompleted house. After the wedding, we relocated to Port Harcourt where he lived. When I first stepped into the one room face me, I face you apartment, tears rushed down my eyes. I didn't know where to start. The room was empty. No foam, no bed, no gas cooker, no plates, literally nothing but a mat on the floor. I cried for a while. He consoled me, promising everything would be okay. Since I am the only girl among five boys, my brothers had already sent money transfers to assist my marriage after buying all the wedding gifts. I still had some money left. The next day, I went to the market and bought a small foam mattress, a gas cylinder, and a few plates. We began our lives as husband and wife. One night, I asked him what his plans were. This wasn't how we should be living, considering he wasn't working. He claimed the phone business he did was fine, but he just lacked the capital to start his own proper business. I asked how much he needed. He said 3 million would be enough. I checked my account. After all the expenses, I had about 2.5 million left. I immediately transferred the amount to his account and told him to start a business as soon as possible. He was overjoyed. He knelt down and promised he would never disappoint me, calling me his good luck charm. That night, he pampered me with love. Months later, I found out I was pregnant. We were happy, expecting our bundle of joy. A few months into the pregnancy, I begged him to give me some money from his business profits so I could register for antenatal care. He said he had no money and asked for time, promising I would register before the 6th month mark. To cut a long story short, 6 months into the pregnancy, he still claimed he had no money for my registration. I cried my eyes out. I didn't want to tell my parents the truth after lying that he was rich, so I endured the pain. He never registered me until the 9th month. I couldn't even buy baby clothes. I cried all night. When the labor started, they rushed me to the hospital. Because I hadn't registered, the doctor was furious with me. I gave birth to a bouncing baby boy. Sadly, the baby developed jaundice due to untreated malaria throughout the 9 months pregnant. I never knew a pregnant woman had to treat malaria constantly, so I hadn't. 3 months after delivery, the love had turned into bitterness. Body started swelling up. I told him, and even the neighbors pointed it out to him. He said he had no money for me to go to the hospital. I forgot to mention, it was my parents who sent the money to clear my hospital bills after the delivery. That was when I finally called my mom and told her everything I had been enduring in the marriage. I tried, but I couldn't endure anymore. Mom cried and ordered me to come back immediately with the baby. I traveled to Enugu to my parents. By then, my entire body was hugely swollen. They quickly rushed me to the teaching hospital. After running tests, they discovered that I had developed hepatitis caused by untreated malaria, according to the doctor. Because the hepatitis wasn't discovered early, I had already damaged my liver. I was ad- I was admitted to the hospital. I stayed there for 6 months. They called my husband, but he never came. He never even asked about me. The baby was very sick from the untreated malaria in his system, and I tragically lost him while in the hospital. My parents consoled me and urged me to move on. After 6 months, the bill came to 3.5 million. All the necessary drugs were imported from India, thanks to my brother who lives there. My parents paid 3 million and asked my husband to contribute the remaining 500k. My husband's reply, he said if they had already paid 3 million, What was the remaining 500K that they couldn't pay? Then he hung up and never called or asked about me again. The second chance. 5 months later, he returned, begging with his people. Out of anger, I had already exposed everything to my parents and siblings, telling them how I gave him my life savings just so he would marry me. They all blamed me. They told him he would have come to marry me back if he was serious. After some time, he and his people came, paid everything, and married me again. I genuinely thought he had changed. I returned to his house and still managing my liver condition. I got pregnant again. This time, he said the business I opened for him had crashed and he was unemployed again. We went back to managing. My family, trying to support me, told me to look for a shop. They were willing to give me 8 million naira to start a business so the man wouldn't mess up my life again. But I pleaded with them, assuring them he had changed. I begged them to use the money instead to send him to India, where he could make more money to take care of me and our children. I was cutting the story short. So my parents used the money to process his travel documents. In the year 2024, he traveled to India. He took his ATM card and gave it to his sister. Even the land I had given him money to buy, he transferred the documents to his sister, leaving me completely stranded without anything. The second time, my eyes were truly opened. But I didn't tell my family anything. I pretended everything was fine. My brother, who took him to India, introduced him to the business he was doing. My husband's life changed. Whenever I called to send money for feeding, he would say he hadn't made any money yet. I was eventually forced to call my brother and beg him to send us money because we were dying of hunger. My brother asked about my husband and why he wasn't sending money. I finally opened up and told him that since he arrived in India, he claimed he wasn't doing anything serious and had no money. That was when my brother told me the truth. My husband had been making 15 million every month because of the kind of business they were doing. My brother got angry and threw him out of the house. From what I heard, my husband bought a land and started building. He even bought houses in Lagos with the help of his sisters without my knowledge. When our rent expired, he said he didn't have money. My family paid for it. They paid for feeding and school fees. This year, he finally said he was no longer interested in the marriage. He told me he found a South African woman and didn't want me to call or chat him anymore. I cried my eyes out and called my family. They asked me to come home and I left his house. I became a disgrace to my family because they had never supported this marriage. Out of pain, I went to my village deity and cried, telling them everything and what happened. 2 weeks ago, the South African woman left him and informed the police about his businesses. He was arrested. To bail him out, they had to sell everything he bought in Nigeria. He was deported. He's back now begging me with his people again, and I am not even sure I will live long because of these liver issues. If not for my brothers who ensure my drugs are constantly bought, I would have been gone. At this point, I am completely confused. What am I really supposed to do? What are you supposed to? Anyway, what did you think about this story? Thank you for watching. And this story is from Brems on Facebook.